Good morning. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Let's all please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First up, we're going to go ahead and do the approval of today's agenda. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Approval of the agenda has passed. Next up, the approval of minutes for the May 18th, 2024 regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call in question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Abstentions? Approval of the minutes have passed. As far as president's comments, I want to make the membership aware. A few months ago, myself and our general manager, John Viola, had an opportunity to go in front of the county council requesting funds for Ocean Pines. So I'm happy to report that the county has given us for our police department $550,000. As far as for our recreation, we have received $20,000 for that. For the fire department, we received $51,000, and for our roads, we received $195,000 for that. So we really appreciate that as far as the county taking care of us here in Ocean Pines. Next up, GM report. John.
Thank you, Rick. I just want to add on there too on the fire department. The fire department gets funds directly from the county also. We only the piece that we get that we forward on. So there was a lot more. Okay, before I start and everything, I know the fire department's here today and they would like to talk. Joe.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Joe.
Just a couple things, with this coming into the summer season, we just wanted to put a couple reminders out there, shooting those that are in the room and also watch more online.
Morning, Joe.
Good morning. Couple reminders just for summer safety. Number one, with Ocean Pines being such a tight-knit community, our lots are usually about a quarter acre unless you've got a double lot, but still it's really wooded. We need to make sure that if we're having our bonfires and grilling and things like that, we are complying with all the regulations. If you go to the fire department website, there's a long list of regulations as far as how to be in compliance with that. Every year we have multiple complaints and also issues with bonfires and campfires and things like that. So please look into that. The other thing to remind everybody about this morning is as we get closer to the 4th of July, everyone loves fireworks. I love fireworks, but let's leave it to the professionals. I know in the state of Maryland, we're allowed to have certain level of ground-based sparklers or ground-based devices. That does not mean just because it starts on the ground, it's okay. And even the things that they sell at Walmart that are legal is not really a great thing to have in our community. Again, with all the brush that we have and as close as our community is to one another, it could cause problems. We have had issues with fireworks mishaps before, rather it be from a fire, rather it be from losing a finger or something like that. So please be careful, leave the fireworks to the professionals. The other thing I just want to remind everybody about, again, is our fundraising initiatives. We are doing our vehicle raffle again this year. Tickets are $100. And this year, you don't have to pay anything more than that $100. So we're saving you about $18,000, $20,000 if you win. So keep that in mind. We're only selling 2,500 tickets. And as soon as we sell those 2,500 tickets, we'll do the raffle or we'll raffle the truck on December 30th, whatever comes first. Hopefully it's the tickets being sold a lot sooner. The other thing is we're doing our weekly Queen of Hearts tournament. So we're going into, I believe it's week 16 now. Tickets are $5 a piece, and the jackpot is up over $11,000 right now. So every day or every week that the Queen of Hearts isn't located, we're going to continue to roll those winnings over into the next week, and that jackpot will continue to grow. We will pick a random winner every week, and the drawings are at 5:30 on Tuesdays, and we live stream the drawing on Facebook. Besides that, just want to wish everyone a happy and safe summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Great, thank you.
Okay, next up, Chief Robinson would like to talk. Look at that smile.
Good morning, Ocean Pines.
Good morning.
Well, as I come here before my community, and I really do like saying my community because I'm a member of your community too. And how can I not have a smile when this is Ocean Pines? So one of the first things I want to talk about is safety. And I'm going to piggyback on what the fire department is saying, but I'm dealing more with roads and traffic because we're getting a lot of issues. My phone rings off the hook. I get emails. We get notified through our website, our Facebook page about speed complaints. And sometimes you'll see me out myself running radar because I do enjoy doing that. I pulled over somebody just the other night speeding on Mumford's Landing Road. And we are going to address them as best we can. But we also have some other issues. We've got some concerns with people not necessarily paying attention. We've had a couple of accidents recently. We just had an accident last night, and I got a lot of messages about it. And it's when somebody puts their car and they're up on a couple wheels or in a ditch. One of the first things that we look at is, are they under the influence? And we are doing an investigation to that did occur last night. And we take those kind of things very seriously here in Ocean Pines. One of the things we are looking at too is I'm working with, Mr. John Viola and our Public Works to make sure that, and we've mentioned before about signage, about whether we have superfluous signage that's not needed. We're also looking for where we need to put warning signs up, especially when you're coming up on a curve, to make sure that folks know what they're coming up on. The other thing I want to mention, and I want to have it mentioned before, and that is house numbers. Since I've been here, I've noticed that there's a wide discrepancy in individuals have their house numbers. Some folks have their numbers prominently displayed, very conspicuous. And I've had a lot of houses where I'm trying to hunt. I'm scanning over the front of the house. Where's the house number? When seconds count, the fire department will probably say the same thing. When seconds count, we need to get there. So make sure that your house number is conspicuously displayed where it can easily be seen. And the last thing I want to talk about is it's hard to believe July 4th is coming up. July 4th, it seems just like yesterday we were talking about Memorial Day. But now we're doing July 4th and we're already in the planning stages. And we had a big meeting yesterday that was chaired by Debbie Donahue from Parks and Recs and helped put that together with the police department, the fire department, Public Works. And we're all going to be working for you to make sure that we have a safe July 4th event. But the one thing I want to let everybody know is that we're going to be having traffic patterns on both Catholic Road and Ocean Parkway, because at various times we're going to have to close those roads for safety. One, to set up for the fireworks and also for when the fireworks begin. And we'll put that out as we get closer to it, make sure everybody's aware of that. And we're hoping for a very fun evening on July 4th. You'll see me and probably almost my entire team out there that night. So if anybody needs me or asks any questions, I'll be sticking around after the meeting. It's great to see everybody today.
Good. Thank you. Okay, so they handled the safety side of the 4th of July as the GM. I just want to tell you, go out there and enjoy it. The professionals will be doing it. Last year was great. This year will be even better. Okay. Get the first slide. Thank you, Bob. Okay, thank you, Linda. Okay, we'll start off with the first slide. I always like some pictures. There's a tiki bar. I have to say, I've been there on the aquatic side as well as the yacht club side. It has definitely enhanced the experience of everybody there, and the feedback is just so positive. Look, the original tiki bar needed a lot of renovation, more than I thought, and a lot of replacement. So I think it was a good job by all. Turn the page. Okay, so these are our initiatives that we'll talk about today. Linda will also be joining me and Debbie in discussing them. The one thing I do want to say before I even start is the entire team has worked to get us ready for the season. The amenities are in turnkey ready condition. And you'll see this with the results and everything Debbie and myself and Linda will tell you. Turn the page. All right, so we talked about the chief rec and parks. So we put Debbie at the beginning. As you know, Debbie's here today. She's the director of rec and parks. I spent some time up there yesterday, and I got to tell you the positive, just feeling up there. She has all her camp councils and everything, ready to go. She's got a good story here, and she's going to tell you about it. Debbie.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So as John has said, we are at the Recreation Department, we are geared up, ready to go for the summer. As you can see, our camp counselors have been here all week. Those are their banners that they make for their each individual group. We have max capacity has been filled for each one of our kids. That has potentially been since March when we opened up registration for camp. So we've only had a few that have dropped due to school, having their daycare, their after school summer camp type thing that they have there. But for the most part, we are completely full. We are ready to go on Monday with all our little friends coming to join us at 7:30 on Monday morning. So everybody's all trained. We went through our CPR, we went through our state training, and we went through our child protective service training this past week. So they are all ready to go. We are also starting next week, will be Wednesday's Family Fun Night will start at the Yacht Club. We will also have concerts in the park that start on Thursday. And as the chief talked briefly about 4th of July, as he said, there are some traffic patterns. We will have a lot of information that's going to come out. We have a new map that Josh Vickers has done for me that kind of stretches out as to where those roads are going to be closed, what time they're going to be closed, and it'll be a little bit more explained to the community as to where you can sit, where you can't sit, where the fallout area is, that where you're not allowed to sit due to, fireworks shells falling in places, things like that. So those types of things will be coming out very shortly with enough time for everybody to understand and realize where you can and cannot be. We are expecting a lot of people, so we all have to also be patient when it comes to the parking and the coming and going. So, but it's normally a really big event and it's a great time. So hopefully you guys join us for the 4th of July. As far as the rest of the recreation, we are doing very well with the staffing that we have, and our numbers are doing well, which John will talk about later. And we're just excited to move into the summer and offer all these great programs for the community.
Thank you, Debbie, for all the hard work you've done.
Thank
to
you.
your crew. Appreciate that.
Talk about the skate park. Debbie's going to also talk about the skate park.
So now we're talking the skate park. We have some, we've had a couple of people that are coming out. The gentleman that actually built the skate park is going to come out and take an assessment of it. We have some cracks that we are addressing with different companies. Public Works has already scheduled for them to come out, take a look at the crack repairs. They are going to power wash. Again, it had been done earlier in the season, but they are going to also do it again. Some of the things that have been asked about is to put benches and different things in there. Unfortunately, here's one of the pictures as to why we have not replaced some of the items for seating inside the skate park. It was continual damage that was taking place for quite some time, and we cannot continue to have thousands of dollars being damaged in the skate park and then keep replacing it. So unfortunately, due to that type of behavior, we are not putting benches and anything back in the park.
Okay. So at the last board meeting, we did have somebody come forward and we did address it immediately. I mean, went up there, there is some work we will do. She mentioned the cracks, the power washing. By the way, we did power wash a few weeks before the last board meeting. We will do it again. There is some work on some of the iron there. We're getting people in, like Debbie said. Debbie's recommended to me that we do not go forward with the benches, and I'm very disappointed on what has happened. That picture's not the first time. There was $1,500, and it was other as far as the electric. So we're not going to address that.
I got a quick question, if you don't mind. Is there a price on this vandalism to this most recent with the benches, and just the damage that I see in here, has there been a price tag on this damage?
So as John said, the camera, they were $1,500. There was two of them out there that were removed. The bench itself, if I were to replace it now, it's about $800. And the picnic benches are anywhere from $300 to $400, just depending on the time, when you order them.
So we're looking around $5,000 in damage that this
Mhm.
individuals have done to one of our amenities. Is there any way or that we can consider, or maybe placement of security cameras that cannot be tampered with, if you will?
We have installed, Keith has installed different cameras higher in different locations. I don't really want to say where they might be, if that's okay with you.
That's fine.
But there are others that are out there that are recorded and I can watch them.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Front page. Thank you, Debbie. South Shore Line, this is a project that we're all excited about. I just wanted to give an update. I don't want to go several months. There has been some progress. Was signed off on, we had legal look at it. We have an outline of what we want to do. You can see it's all there, the priorities, what the next steps are as far as with Vista and the design. One thing we get a lot of calls on our emails and info. Yes, there will be a fishing access. Yes, we are going to enhance the fishing experience there. We're looking at the docks or the piers that we have there to expand them and make them more accessible for fishing. Okay, turn the page. Okay, maintenance, I did mention at the beginning, it's basically turnkey from food and beverage all the way down to aquatics and everything else. Here's a list. I'm not going to go through it, but we have all our checklists. They've all been checked. And we're ready to go, and the numbers will show it when I get into the financials. Landscaping, palm trees have been big. We continue to bring in more palm trees. We get a lot of positive feedback on it. You can see the flags on the Northgate Bridge and the Southgate. We do change them up for the seasons and different times. On the bottom right there is the gardens. We did work there, and we're going to talk about some signs that we're putting in. Again, feedback we received at board meetings. And you can see them before and after on the garden landscaping all around it. Yeah.
John, back to the beach club. I know there was a fair amount of conversation questions around the bathroom access. Is that, are we good to go? Or?
So, yeah, we'll talk about that. Actually, Linda's going to handle that. But
The beach access, we did put something out there the day before Memorial Day. We haven't had many issues. We did have the Wi-Fi go down one day. It did cause a little problem. So we did just leave the bathroom doors open that one day, but everything was resolved by IT and everything's up and running, no issues.
right, and she has it staffed. Okay. Page. Third page. The marina, and just one thing I want to add on that marina slide, I just talked to Ron before the meeting. His gas price, our gas price per gallon is $5.06, 0.9. It's he's telling me it's the cheapest around. It continues to have the best prices. We're going to include that in all our advertisements and utilize the electronic sign to advertise that. You got the best prices, advertise it. Okay, in addition to that, they have had some small craft advisories, more than we'd like. For May, kind of affected the numbers, but he was still right there on budget and better than last year. They are trying to enhance the experience by selling apparel, worms, all the stuff that's all listed up there. So stop in, visit the marina and buy a little extra stuff. They are also selling beverages. Turn the page. Irrigation. Okay, so we all know about that. That was a big capital spend that the board approved. It's probably going to be over 4 years. The material started showing up the other day. I happened to be here as it arrived. I tried to take as many pictures as I could. But so what you see there is mainly the pipe that would lead from the pumping station for 1, 9, and the driving range. So it's in there. We are scheduled to start work in November. Justin told me yesterday that we may be able to start a little earlier. We do not anticipate or minimal interruption with the golf course. So pretty excited about that. Turn page. All right, so golf, let me just catch up here. I was talking to the golf pro just before we started. But the golf course, I've mentioned this before, it's the economic powerhouse driving this engine, Ocean Pines. So you can see there, I'm not going to go through all the numbers. We're favorable, he's favorable versus prior year. You can see green fees, card fees were up across the board. They continue to have Ravens Roost, who's very popular. It's got some big numbers there. Maintenance is on track. You can see the pictures. The course is in great shape. 2 weeks ago, I did on the Friday, he had 250 golfers here. The 15, 20 years I've been here, that was the highest number I ever heard for a day. And Bob just confirmed it with me. That's probably a record. We'd have to go back far, but Bob's been around a long time. 250 on a Friday. We usually on a day, on a Saturday or whatever, at this time of the year, we're doing 225, 240. Really good story. Turn page. Okay, so the memberships, I did mention that. Now this will tie everything in when I do the financials. I asked Steve to put together en route then where we were last year, where we are this year at a point in time. I believe it was at the end of May. She did this for me. So you can see 2023, 957,000 for memberships. This year, 1,115,000. Now we're not done. We're still selling memberships. And we will compare that at the end of the month. But we're up a good number. I say we're up 100,000, just rounded. And you can look at what the drivers are. Look at golf, right? 70-something thousand right there. Aquatics, beach parking, pretty much everything but tennis. And I'll say tennis is flat across the board. Got a good product. Numbers are showing it. Turn the page. Linda Martin, Director of Business Administration. Linda?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, racket sports. We got an update from Terry. Pickleball tournament was held last weekend. It was very well attended. We did have an increase in pickleball and tennis this month. Several courts were in full use over the last couple of weeks. Tree branches hanging over the pickleball, they were addressed. They were cut down by Public Works. The netting was repaired by Public Works as well. And the replacement chairs have arrived, so they should be seeing them put out shortly. And there is a tournament coming up in October. Aquatics, good start to the season. Memorial Day weekend, this does not include memberships. This is just people coming in using the pool, 51% over last year. Fully staffed on lifeguards, that's the first time since COVID. New flooring at Splash Pad installed. The painting was actually done in-house by one of the head lifeguards. So we did the light blue. It looks really good. That was done this past week and it was open up yesterday. Snack bar will be open up Monday finally for swim and racket. And just a reminder, the splash party this evening at 5 to 8 at Sports Corp.
Linda, can I just on the splash pad, just so I'm clear, is that now operational or is there still more work to be done?
It's operational. It was opened up yesterday.
Yep, sorry.
It was opened up yesterday.
Okay.
So it's operational.
I had gotten a question, his
Yeah.
guy's grandchild.
Yeah.
And she was waiting, so.
Yeah, we did some concrete
Just-
work. Yeah, concrete work around the new splash pad. We just had to wait till the paint dried and it was opened up yesterday
Good.
and in
Thank you.
full use.
Excuse me, Linda.
Uh-huh.
Any of those non-skid tape on those on the ladders?
Yeah, club ladders
Yeah.
on this on order. It should be as soon as it comes in, we'll have it installed.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Phyllis East Room. I know this was brought up at the last board meeting, or sorry, the April board meeting. The plaque was put in along with the informational sheet. So now the East Room is now officially the Phyllis East Room. So go stop by and read the bio on Phyllis East if you don't know her. She was a wonderful lady. But we do have a bio as well in the Anna Fultz room. And signs were ordered. They actually arrived yesterday. They'll be installed by Public Works. So that's what the signs look like. It's the Racket Center and Recreation Complex and the new community garden sign.
with signage, because I know that John and his team are looking at like a cohesive look for the community. So we don't have these hodgepodge of different types of signs. Everything will kind of look like it belongs, it goes together, which I think is terrific. And I don't know, I think when the chief was talking about signage that was needed, I don't know if many of you have noticed, if you go down the parkway now, it's serene. They removed almost 80 signs that were not needed along our parkway. That was just a clutter, a distraction. It's really terrific, I think, looking, to improve the look of our community, dress it up a bit. It's just really terrific. And I can't wait to see what the sign designs and stuff will look like. But it's kind of nice to have that.
Thank you, Lauren.
Okay, IT, I know we were talking about cameras. We do have new cameras installed at the dog park and ball field. They're the first. So there's pictures of them as well. And metrics, for CPI, 182 new violations this month, 229 closed out, 247 still remain open as of the end of the May. Maintenance, we're trying to wrap up on the maintenance. And we do recommend that people read the new guidelines. We're having a lot of disconnects that people are not reading the new guidelines. So it's on our website. Please read the new guidelines because there's information that was added that was not in there before. So it's important to read that. Work orders for May, 144 new work orders, 155 closed out, 177 remain open, majority in drainage, 101. Most of them will probably be resolved by outside contractor. And for CPI, for customer service, 155 emails and phone calls. And if any questions, email info@oceanpines.org.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Okay, this is to me is the report card. We just told you the story. We told you where we're at, Linda, Debbie, myself, and it's a good story. But obviously, like anything else, there needs to be a report card, and certainly the financials are, and I'm going to talk to you about them, going to analyze them. Before I get into them, last month I talked about headwinds, tailwinds for the organization. I will continue to update you. Linda will also over the course of the year and bringing us the next budget. But today, one of the things I want to point out is one of the ways that you are able to get good results is an organization management has to realize what your KPIs are, what's driving your organization, what's driving your results, where to put your assets, where to put your money and invest your time. And I believe we've been doing that for 5 years and we will continue. But, let's talk about this now. So we have April. We all know at the end, this is the last month and we need the financials audited from the outside accounting firm. That'll be in July. And then hopefully we get Steve here. He will go through the numbers with you. He's our controller. So here's the unaudited flash estimate for our financials at the end of April 2024 year to date. So if you just go down to the bottom first, and I always go to the bottom, but if you look at the far right, I have to report versus budget. We're favorable to budget, almost $1.2 million. You go back last year, we were favorable 1.1 and change. So the story continues. But what I will also point out, and I will show you in the next couple slides, is we've always increased our budget each year. We've increased the revenue estimates basically for across the board, as well as increased our spend to enhance the customer experience here and with our maintenance. So what's driving that 1.2 million? Well, and I've said it, and I don't want to keep saying it, but what I do want to say, and I know I will be able to tell this association by the end of the year, it's basically everybody. But you could see golf is 220,000 favorable to budget. You could see versus prior year, and prior year since I've been around for 20 years was a record-breaking number. And you can see that aquatics is up there now versus budget 104,000. Beach parking, it's every year I seem to be saying something on beach parking. All right, racket sports, the marina, we did have a lot of small craft advisories. And we had some situations there, but again, it's pretty much flat. Racket sports, there was increased spend there, and that's something that we are looking at. Food and beverage was up 100,000, mostly driven by the grill was up 45,000 and the beach club was up 54,000. So that was basically all of the favorability on food and beverage. Yacht club was basically flat. Rec and parks, I work closely with Debbie, and I got to tell you, obviously that's a cost center that is spent, but she has increased the revenue. She's accepted the challenges that I've given her to bring in new types of programs, and it's showing. And it's showing with positive results there. The police, okay, so we were shorthanded police. We did have overtime that offset that. So when you see favorability here, it's mostly about benefits. That money also needs to be reinvested. We did put in a pension equivalent, and that needs to be funded, and part of that funding will come out of this number. The support staff, and I told you they have basically made this place turnkey for all the amenities. There was favorability in there. There was a lot of cost efficiencies. The marketing was more revenue generating, compliments to Josh and his team there, bringing in new ways. Finance with the new system coming on board and everything, North Star, and I know I've been saying this for 5 years, but we're starting to get some efficiencies there. Okay, April year to date, I'm looking forward to giving you the final audited numbers. As of now, we're on track with the auditors, the last update I received. Let's go to May. Let's talk about this year. So we're 1 month in. This is a flash. We're not done yet. When I got the numbers the other night, I was pretty excited. What I do want you to look at is this. And again, I'm presenting now, like I said last month, not just budget, which I have to do, but also versus prior year, because it's very telling, at least to me. So if you go down prior year and budget, the first two columns, you can see the 6.5 and then the 6,652. That is showing you what I've been saying. We had a good year last year. We increased the budget. We increased the budget for what our anticipated revenue would be, as well as more spend. What's wrong with these speakers? Thank you. So that's basically the report card. And keep in mind, we lowered the assessment. So if you look on the far corner versus budget, we were favorable 291,000 for the month, right out of the box. I believe last year we were favorable 156,000. So to me, the prior year showing that the 388 is good numbers. So this ties in everything we're telling you. Again, it's golf, but it's across the board pretty much. The grill here is definitely experiencing the favorability based upon the golf course, and of course the good service that we get in all the food and beverage. So that's pretty much it. The Public Works, fully engaged. Any questions? Sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm, like for both racket sports and the marinas, that they were off for this past fiscal year, really due to increased maintenance. It had nothing to do, especially with racket club memberships or anything.
So the memberships have been up, not big, but they are up. You're right. Pickleball, platform tennis, some more pickleball. The tennis has been flattened this year so far, which is a slight decrease. So yes, it's more increasing in the spend in the mix of the staff I had down there. So that should start to balance out.
Okay.
Yep. Still a good story. Any other questions on these financials? No? All right. Okay, so obviously the balance sheet, Steve did prepare, as he always does for us, for me, the reserve. So let me just look at this. So when you look at this schedule, you go to top line, 4/30/24 balances. And again, we're waiting for the audited financials, but I think there's several people in this room that could tell me $7 million is what our reserve balance is at the end of 4/30/24. And you can see the breakout. So it's 5.5 general. You got roads, we got about $1 million in there. So, and then we're showing where we'll be at the end of this month. Well, at the end of the month, we're going to close out May, but that doesn't include all the spend we're going to do this year. We will have forecasts for that over the next couple of months. Okay.
John, I have a question.
Sure.
Like on the roads and the casino funds that comes in, that doesn't also include the money that the county gives us also, right?
Correct.
All right, thanks.
Correct. Okay, Monica.
Thanks, John. I appreciate the report on that. Next, we have Monica with our treasurer's report.
Thank you, Rick. As of May 31st, 2024, the association had approximately $19.2 million in cash. Cash increased 700,000 from the same time last year. Cash increased 400,000 from April 2024. We have 10.5 million invested in CDARS. We realized $80,000 in interest income. The remaining 8.7 million is insured cash sweep accounts, treasury bills, money market, and other operating accounts diversified between two banks, local banks.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah,
Thank you,
I-
Mark. Go ahead, Stuart.
Yeah, I have a question. It was 80,000 in income for the month. We're averaging what, about $50,000-$60,000 in income?
50, 55.
So
yeah,
about 600,000 in income a year.
based on the numbers so far. Yep.
That's great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Monica. Next up, we have public comments. Members wishing to make comments must state their name and address. Comments are limited to 5 minutes, so those who wish to come forward, please do so. Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the floor with, oh, I'm sorry, please come forward. I apologize, I didn't see you. Hey, Bob, you can just come up to the podium. Come on up to the podium. That's all right. You look fine. You look fine. That's all right. Just go ahead and state your name once again and your address for record.
Robert Merriman, 11 Clubhouse Drive, up the street. I've been here about 25 years. 4 years ago, I was at a meeting at the library in which Chip Bertino and Jim Bunny were both there. And I guess it was the county commissioners. And then 3 years ago, I ran into Jim on the survey, and we discussed the same thing again. It's Bootram Road. At that time, I said, unfortunately, governments are so good at putting development ahead of infrastructure. And once again, we faced that with 90 houses on Bootram Road. I know Bootram Road is not a part of the Ocean Pines entity, but it affects us greatly. And we heard about safety here and traffic, 4th of July. Many people take their boats down to the boat ramp on Bootram Road. Most of the people in North Pines, if they're going north, maybe west, will take Bootram Road. And then adding 90 houses more, which hasn't opened up yet. We have a serious problem. Now, Jim is not here, so unfairly, I guess I shouldn't say this, but I said, Jim, we got to expand 90 to help the people in Ocean Pines. He said, we can't. We don't have the land. He said, we can't build a dual-lane highway. So for all those present, we don't need a dual-lane highway there. A 3-lane road. When you come into Ocean Pines by Whitehorse, there's a turn lane left going into the Whitehorse Park. There's 3 lanes there. The paved part is only 45 feet. We have 65, 70 feet on Bootram Road. No one is allowed to turn into Ocean Pines heading south off of Bootram into any of their homes. It's always been that way, and it always will be that way. So the only turning is to the north. So all cars coming in heading east on Bootram do not need to be turning right, only left. If you have a middle lane to turn left into new developments and all the other areas there, then you've got it covered. Traffic never stops. They wait in a turn lane. So all you need is 3 lanes. We have like 65, 70 feet there. And We only need 45. You want to keep it the minimum. You could put a curb and gutter in there too. And drain pipes. I know the state has to do this, but it has to start at home. This is home. And I'm just asking if Ocean Pines Board will be kind enough to study it a little bit, work it up, and reapproach. And I will talk to Chip and Jim also and tell them I spoke this morning to reconsider before we get gridlocked. Because in North Pines here, we're liable to get gridlocked, at least in summertime. And people pulling the boats, I see them going down the road and they literally come to a stop because the road's so narrow now. They come to a stop and let the traffic go by and they keep on going. And it's already a hazard. So if we could consider it sometime, a committee, I would love to hear more and didn't mean to take your time. I thank you.
No, thank you for coming up and speaking. That has been an issue that's been up for discussion for quite a while. There's a lot of different entities that are involved with the road expansion above and beyond what we would, as a board, or recommend. So we'll take that into consideration and be able to push that forward to the government authorities, commissioners, to see what can, if anything, can be done to what you have recommended.
Well, like I said, the only thing I was told, well, we can't do 4 lanes, but we don't need 4 lanes. We couldn't use 4 lanes there because no one can turn south into Ocean Pines into their homes. So,
Well, thank you for
Yeah,
your time.
thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other comments? I'm going to go ahead and close the floor for public comments. Next up, we have capital requests. We have a request for Public Works for bulkheads. John.
Slides up. Bulkhead replacement. You don't have it. Requesting authorization to go forward with staff recommendation of $900,000 for Fisher Marine for bulkhead replacement. 24-25.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve $900,000 for bulkhead replacement for 2024-25 fiscal year using Fisher Marine? Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Discussion?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Rick, I just had one question for John. I get a lot of questions from neighbors and stuff saying, hey, you guys are doing a great job with the bulkheads. Where can I see a schedule of possibly when mine is so I can plan for it?
Yeah, so we have, as part of our strategic plan books, we have it all planned out for the next several years. I believe it's down in Public Works. We have a copy. We can ask them to go to info at Ocean Pines and we'll set them up a time if they want to, or if they want a specific, we can look it up and send it to them. Yeah, everything's all mapped out for years.
Thanks, Jeff. Steve? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
John, just to be clear, I'm not sure I'm going to use the correct terminology, but this is the ongoing annual cost for replacing bulkheads. This is not an emergency request of any type. Is that correct?
No, that's absolutely correct. This is for the spend for 24-25. It's basically 2,000 linear feet at $450. Right. If it's an emergency, I'll come in separately.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
Thank you.
Just for everyone listening, it was approved in the last budget cycle.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Seeing no discussion.
Maybe I just don't understand sometimes, and just straighten me out. If we've already approved this in our last budget cycle, why does this have to be voted on now? It's already been approved, though.
It has been approved, but we have to bring it forward to spend.
Oh, okay.
So basically, and first of all, I agree with Stuart, but I'm following the procedures. But what I'm doing is bringing forward the 3 bids now,
Right.
bids, and then showing you the Fisher Marine's the lowest. But I'm with Stuart on that for another day.
Thanks, John. I'm with you.
Any further discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll call a question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion passes. Next up, we have a police vehicle purchase. John.
Okay. Police vehicles, requesting authorization to go forward with staff recommendation of $88,000 for Hertrick Fleet Services. It's for 2 cruisers for the police department. Just some background quickly. Remember a couple of years ago, we eliminated 5 cars out of our fleet. Non-police, we added back 3 a year ago so that they can take the cars home. Now with the increase in staff that the chief has staffing, he needs 2 more cars. So we would be flush at the end from where we were several years ago. So anything forward after this would be new capital.
So just so I'm clear on this, so that requested the 80,000, but we do have a total equipment expenditure added onto that as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so I want to put a motion to approve $132,400 for 2 police vehicles, which include the expenditures of radios, computers, lettering, cage, and emergency equipment. This is a statewide fleet contract pricing preferred vendor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any discussion? Elaine?
Quick question. Was this also in the budget or is this something that?
It wasn't,
This is replacements.
Yeah.
it's replacement based on what I explained, but it wasn't in the budget.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Jeff?
I just want to say with our vision, we see, John, you and your staff investing in our amenities and the beautification of our community has been awesome. I just wanted to say it's good to see, we want exceptional safety here too. So the modernization of our police force is awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So again, repurposing of our funds.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call a question. All in favor for the purchase, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next up, we have CPI violations. Linda.
Okay, the file violations have received the first and second notice per resolution MO1. No hearing was requested and the violation continues. I do have 3 also for contractors, resolution, per the declaration of restrictions. First violation, 97 Pinehurst Road, 124 Sandy Hook Road, 38 Canal Road, 2 Waters Edge Court, 139 Windjammer Road, 90 Abbyshire Road, 12 Admiral Avenue, 2 Bramblewood Drive, 11 Tail of the Fox Drive, 56 King Richard Road has been resolved. 83 High Sheriff Trail, 2 Greenwood Lane, 15 Greenwood Lane, 35 Robin Hood Trail, 6 Lee Drive, 59 Wood Duck Drive, 9 Yeoman Court, 104 Nottingham Lane, and 106 Nottingham Lane.
Linda, which one did you say that was resolved?
56 King Richard.
Okay, with that, I'd like to, go ahead.
Linda, for the 3 that says for contractor, can you just walk through several?
Yeah. The declaration of restrictions gives authorization for the board to vote, a 2/3 vote to have the property maintained.
And that we would bill the owner
Yes, they'll bill the owner contractor's fee.
and then it kind
And-
of follows the process.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Jeff?
One additional question, Linda, on those ones where we're asking for the contractors, is that more of an MO4 than an MO1?
MO4 only covers
It's the,
grass, but this is similar. It's a
Okay.
maintenance, yes.
Okay, with that, I'd like to move a motion to have these properties moved to legal for processing and to spending of amenities and voting rights. Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? See no further discussion. I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. We have no unfinished business. We do have new business on the agenda, and this is a second reading of the change to resolution F04 for delinquent assessments. Monica.
Thank you. As Rick said, this is the second reading for changes and adaptation to resolution F04. The motion is to consider and adapt proposed changes to Resolution F04. The purpose and effect is to discuss and approve the policy for the collection of delinquent annual charges assessments. The background is these revisions received a first reading on May 18th at the regular board meeting. The effort to document the actions the Board of Directors is authorized to take for the collection of delinquent annual changes and for the assessments.
Any discussion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in question, do I have a motion to approve the changes to resolution F04? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. And next up, we have a motion to provide up to $2,500 for the Historic Task Group. Elaine Brady?
Yes, the task group has now met twice. And, we're kind of pulling together the framework, but one of the requests was the Bud Wagner book. There's very few copies remaining, and we don't want to lose that knowledge at this point. So they were able to, Marlene Ott, who was on the committee, researched all of this, reached out to the family because the book is not copyrighted. And we really hadn't heard anything back. We'll probably run it by Bruce just to make sure we're able to do this. But we're looking to reprint 200 copies. And the approximate cost is $10 per. They'll be sold at $20. So all of those funds, as people purchase books, will come back to Ocean Pines. So the amount fronted will be repaid over time.
Great.
Excuse me. Elaine, would these be those big table books or?
No, I think you're thinking of the ones that Buckman does. So
Yeah.
It's not. The Bud Wagner book is really just a small, maybe 5x7, spiraled. And, I'm not sure when he passed away, but it only really went up into 1998, I believe. Then there was an update. But it's got all of the early history and stuff, and we don't want to lose that. And so we just want to work out, we want to get approval if looks okay with Bruce that we can reprint because it has no copyright. He'll certainly, Bud will certainly, be named as the author of it. And we're not looking to make any of those kinds of changes. We're running out of copies.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the expenditures of 2,500.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Elaine, I just want, did I understand you to say?
Yep.
Go ahead and make the motion.
Yeah, that's what, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to approve the
Oh.
$2,500.
Yeah.
We don't want him to go crazy back there. Yes. Yeah. So I'm going to do a motion to approve the $2,500 for the Historical Task Group. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Thank you. Elaine, did I understand you to say the book had never been copyrighted or the copyright had expired?
Never copyrighted.
And we're sure of that.
We are sure of that,
Okay.
but we're gonna have Bruce confirm that we can move forward.
I think there's a way to do a search. Have you already done that, or is that?
Marlene Ott did,
Yeah.
and she also did reach out to the family. I mean, but it has passed. His name will continue to be on it, but my feeling is he probably wants that to be out there in the universe because he worked very hard on pulling all that history and just all kinds of facts together. So I'd like to see that live on.
Any further discussion? Seeing no discussion, I'll call a question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. Next up, we have discussion on pool membership and supporting activity by Stuart Lacknick.
Good morning, folks. I'm the liaison to the Aquatics Committee, and they came to me to host a topic for discussion. So the topic is sunsets and cocktails, and a concise statement to host an event for couples and retirees. Background: host a sunsets and cocktails event at the Yacht Club pool on an evening that does not conflict with family fun night. A, create an event that would appeal to singles, couples, and retirees in our community while remaining inclusive to our families. B, charge a fee that would cover the cost of lifeguards and other staff while remaining cost effective for our attendees. C, if the event's successful, future sunsets and events can be offered at the Yacht Club pool on a regular basis throughout the summer to generate additional revenue for both the aquatics department as well as the Matt Org Company. And D, working with Matt Org Company, this event could offer hors d'oeuvres and specialty cocktails for sale, and this could be an added benefit for our pool attendees, members.
Discussion?
I think we're walking a fine line here once again when it comes to kind of putting this out there for singles, couples, and retirees. So noted that it is inclusive to our families, but my opinion, we're walking a fine line with this.
I would ask council, is there any, as far as from a legal perspective on this liability?
I haven't reviewed this.
Any further, good, John.
So I got 3 people jumping off the table here. So it sounds real good. It sounded good the last 3 years when I heard it. If it's adults only, we cannot do it. I do have from council in the past that it was recommended not to do it. I'm sure when Bruce looks at it, he'll say the same. I agree with Monica. If we do it, we would have been doing it already.
Good, Steve.
Thanks, Rick. Candidly, I don't know if this is doable or not. I'll defer to the experts on that, but I do think if we're going to undertake any sort of review, for instance, by legal, I think it's worthwhile to also get some sense as to, as best possible, cost and revenue estimates for, lifeguards. The assumption is that at least the first one at best might break even. And I don't know that we should necessarily assume that to be the case. So rather than going forward in any way, which we're not going to do anyway, I think if we're going to do an examination, we need to also look at cost and revenue projections, if the inclination is to go forward. In
There's
any
also
way.
the parking. Right, so, sorry.
Go ahead, no, good, John.
So it's all come back. Look, this has been going on since 2017, 2018. We also have a situation with the parking, with the county. There's a reason why we closed the pools at the time we do, because then the yacht club takes over. We have looked at this numerous times. I will go and do estimates if that's what you want, but let's let Bruce come back. It's probably, I got a folder on the stuff that we've looked at it already. I don't know what else to say. Sounds good, and it sounded good the last 3 times that I heard it.
Dr. Lackner, good. Good,
Yeah,
counsel.
yeah.
Good, counsel.
So, my old age, my memory's back. I think this got looked at by our office last year,
Correct. Thank you,
Yeah.
Bruce.
and I think we advised against it.
You did, Bruce. I
Yeah.
reached out to Bruce immediately. We had the prior law firm. Bruce was all over it.
Yeah.
Correct. So
There's
I gotta
federal
be-
law that applies to this sort of
Yes, sir.
thing, and it's a pretty clear restriction. So I don't think, Steve, to answer you, I don't think we need to get into
right.
the financial end of this, but I'll
Yeah,
confirm
we'll
the
double
answer
check.
that I gave
Sure.
last year, because I want to do that.
Yep.
Well, just to be
Go
clear,
ahead, Steve.
my interest is if we're going to undertake any sort of review, so it comes back to the board for some
Right.
further action,
Right.
I'd like to have
Okay.
the full picture.
So
That's
if
all I'm
legally, okay, I understand what you want from me. If it's legally, we can do it, and we're saying probably not, I will have all the information for you.
Yeah, if it's going to sink, let it
Yes.
sink. But if it's going to come back, I'd like to have a full picture. That's all I'm
Yeah,
asking.
so what we could do, the sort of the legal deliberation might be confidential, but the answer will not, be. I can come back.
Fine.
Stuart, you have something else?
It seems as though we are waiting for our council to come back for opinion. I think we should table this.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and table this for once we hear back from legal. Okay. All right, next up, we have appointments. We have a motion to approve appointments of Cheryl Jacobs for first term elections, Pat Leonard for first term elections, Steve Ransdell's chair for elections. Do I have a motion to approve?
Can we do these separately?
Or you want to do them separately?
Please, yes.
Okay. So we're going to do a motion to approve Cheryl Jacobs first term election. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion passed the appointment passes for Cheryl Jacobs for first term elections. Do I have a motion to approve the appointment of Pat Leinert for the first term elections? Do I have a motion to approve? Do I have a second? All in favor, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passed for Pat Leonard for the first term elections. The motion to approve, Steve Ransdell as chair of the elections. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Second. Do I have discussion? Steve?
Thanks, Rick. I've always been of the opinion that we need to value volunteers who step forward to take on added responsibility, and I continue to believe that. In this particular case, and by the way, I believe that I'm correct that when Mr. Ransdell was first put onto the elections committee, we passed this unanimously anyway. But I am concerned about at least some reports as to his, for lack of a better term, participation with a particular Facebook page. Facebook page holds itself out as being parody. My own view is that it passed parody several stops ago, and the content is much closer to being insulting, demeaning, and generally repulsive. And it focuses, frankly, on three particular individuals who are residents of Ocean Pines. Mr. Ransdell, as it's been reported, has in the past by symbols or emojis indicated he liked a lot of these comments. Now, why is that normally a problem? Why is that a problem? The problem is this. Two of the three women that have been targeted by this Facebook page are now candidates for the election. Mr. Ransdell has indicated his view of these people who are running for the board, and he's now the chair of the elections committee. It is apparent to me that this is a clear potential, if nothing else, conflict of interest between his own views and the need for us to hold an election. And let me take a step back. Our last three elections have been mired in controversy for different reasons. Some of them self-inflicted, some of them not. I have no sense in getting into this, but all of the last three elections have been a problem. And frankly, we should work hard to make sure it doesn't happen again this year. And the better course of action in this case would be to find a different chair. Now, Mr. Ransdell, as I believe, I'm on the committee for 6 or 7 months, so he has no prior experience dealing with any elections anyway. We have a vacancy. We have a problem in that, for instance, Tom Piatti is now leaving. He ran the last election, going through a heavy turnover in the election season. I get all of that. But the fact of the matter is we can do better. And we can find someone else who could step in, whether it's a new member or an existing member of the committee, and we avoid the appearance of any particular conflict. And I'll carry it a step further. I mean, having discussed this with at least a few of my colleagues, we all agree that the Facebook page in question is repulsive. And so therefore, there's really no need to take this step. And for that reason, I'm going to oppose the nomination.
Any further discussion? Go ahead, Stuart.
Yeah, Steve, I think you're wrong about the last election. I think it went rather smooth. We just had a little hiccup on the rollout that so we extended the time an extra 2 weeks, and I felt that Tom Piatti George Austin and his group did an amazing job running our election last year, and it was not mired in controversy. Mr. Ransdale, a professional, ran a great candidate forum just last night. I won't let social media dictate to me or this board what we do, and I think your characterization of Mr. Ransdale is incorrect. By the way, it should be noted, folks, Tom Piatti, the actual chair right now who's leaving us, brought us Mr. Ransdale to be the chair in his succession. Thank you.
Jeff?
Thanks, Rick. First off, I want to say what Stuart said. A personnel problem with our last election? Give me a break. And everybody is entitled to their own opinion. We live in a free world. Mr. Ransdale has demonstrated character and professionalism on Thursday night, and he deserves that.
Any further discussion? Monica?
I agree about everyone is entitled to their opinion. I think far too much credence is given to Facebook accounts personally. We have things in place with our election process that should not allow any one individual to affect the outcome of it.
Any further discussion? Steve?
Yeah, just let me backtrack a little bit. 2 points. One is I don't disagree. Everybody has their right to their own opinion. You're entitled to that. No one apparently is disputing the fact that he did in fact issue commentary through some form on this particular Facebook page. No one disagrees, frankly, this Facebook page is repulsive. And as to what happened in the last election, I'll remind everybody, we had to have a special board meeting in order to address all of the problems that rose up with this contractor. Now, yeah, in the end, we worked it out, no question. But we did not have what could best be described as a smooth election. And prior to the board meeting, we did have a situation where there are an awful lot of members in Ocean Pines who expressed concern, maybe even outrage, in where the ballots were, when we were getting them, and all. Now, the board fixed that. I don't disagree with that. But the fact of the matter is, each of the last 3 elections have posed a unique set of circumstances which have raised problems. All I've said so far is we need to avoid the appearance of a conflict of interest. His position as chair of the committee, in my opinion, raises that problem.
I have one comment to make on that. You know, we have a process that's in place. We have deadlines that are in place that the election committee forwarded to us that they are following. And from what I understand, they are ahead of the process right now. I don't know how that there would be an influence of a chair who's following the direction of what has been laid out by the entire committee with a vendor, offsite vendor that's going to be taking care of elections. So I don't see how that would be an issue with involving or having a bias for an election when you have a process that's outsourced, where deadlines have been made. And from what I understand, John, through our liaison, John Latham, that we are pretty much on schedule for that. Is that correct? Okay, so I just feel that that we are moving forward, and I will concur that Mr. Ransdell did a very professional job as far as moderating the candidate forum this past Thursday.
Yeah, I'll just add, as the liaison to the elections committee, I 100% support Steve as the chairman. He's done nothing but been professional. Tom Piatti has been a mentor, I'm sure. Tom has a lot of the background, a lot of the experience, and I've seen nothing that I would have a concern about, or this board, or this community for that matter, should have with Steve stepping up as chairman.
Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, I call the question. All in favor of Steve Ransdale to be appointed as chair for the election committee, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Any abstentions? The motion passes for Steve Ransdale as chair of the elections committee. Next up, adjournment. I have a motion to adjourn. I have a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes, meeting adjourned. Thank you for coming out.